Okay, so where we are now is I did manage to get the fitting on the intercooler down below underneath the bumper here. That is loose, but there's got to be like a good 3 inches or so of the silicone fitting on top of the intercooler line, and I'm having a hard time sliding that off both down below and up here as well. So my next thought is I'm going to go ahead and I have to disconnect the oil dipstick, take that off, and then there's 4 bolts here which will let me take this elbow off, and hopefully that'll give me room to pull this elbow straight up and then pull this intercooler line straight up as well. And I really don't think anybody's ever touched these lines before. So whoever did this job, again, this is the 3rd time this is being done. They did not remove that intercooler line, but it's tight in there. That one's really not that tight. Okay, just remember you've got this wire hooking into the front on this bolt here. It's pretty obvious where the bolts go. You got the 2 long ones, the 2 intermediate ones, and the short one for the dipstick. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff attached to this. So we are going to put it over like that. On this horn here, the ripped boot goes to the back. I bet you those are an 8. This piece could just lay over here. I just figure I'll take it off and clean it up and see if I can replace that boot somehow. Looks like it's a 10, same size. Intercooler to intake, rip boot goes on back hole. And before I put these back on, I will give these a good cleaning. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to go down below and see if I can pull off this intercooler line now. So that was definitely the trick. The line came off easy peasy now. So there it is. And just one thing to keep in mind when you're looking for clamps for this is this side, this boot is much bigger than this side. So if your clamps go bad, make sure you measure all this stuff out before you just go ordering stuff. Let me just show you guys where we are. So I just took off the intercooler pipe that was right through here and went into this elbow. And you can see how much more room I have to work now. It definitely seems like that's what you want to do to get in there and do this stuff. And it's just such a much better view of what's going on in there. And the only thing I'm going to say is, if you look at the intake here, you see there's some sand there because the aluminum corroded. I don't know what the right term is. So I'm going to get a vacuum and vacuum some of that out. I don't think I have a wire brush that size, but I'd love to put the vacuum there right underneath it and get a wire brush and clean those threads a little bit. And I am definitely going to clean the threads on all those bolts I just took off. And then I think there's a gasket here, which I should probably replace, and there's probably one on the top of that heater as well. But let me get a vacuum and vacuum all this off. All right, let me go below and I'll plug up that pipe, and then come back up top and we'll plug up this one. All right, that's about as fancy as I'm going to get with that. I just rolled up a t-shirt, stuffed it in there, and hopefully it'll expand a bit. And that's got to be one determined mouse to get in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and vacuum some rust. I'm going to chip at the rust a little bit, see if I can vacuum it up, and then get some fluid film and give it a spritz while I'm in here. On top of the front shock towers, there's those pockets there where salt tends to kind of congregate and start rusting stuff out. So what I recommend is every spring, if you can, get in there with a hose and give it a good blast and clear all that out, or more often if you can. I coated that area with some rust converter and then some black paint, and all it kind of did was seal the rust in. So I'm a big fan now of fluid film, and this might be satisfying for some of you guys. But my can is empty. All right, I got to get a new can of fluid film. I try to keep some fluid film around, so whenever I see rust, I can do something about it. But just be careful. That's you know, I'm sure there's so many spots that I don't know where the rust is, but that one is definitely a high rust spot. All right, let's see if we can get the old fluid out of the reservoir, so we don't make a mess when we take it out. All right, that's what we got out of the reservoir right there. Mightyvac makes this 16-ounce container. I got it on Amazon. It seemed handy for things just like this, and I gotta say, I think it is. Let me go get rid of this.